Hello, thank you for joining me on another episode of the AW Confidential podcast. I first connected with our guest today on an IG Live. She was personable, engaging, and she was discussing manifestation, which is one of my favorite subjects. Many of us have heard of manifestation, but what do we really know about it? Do we understand it? How to do it? Gigi Diaz is a child star. She was also a radio personality. She is now a life coach and CEO of Seizing Happiness, as well as a media personality. Gigi, welcome. And I didn't even
Hey.
mention, hon, you are the host of Chats with Gigi.
Yeah, the Chats with Gigi podcast. That's been around for a little
Yes.
bit. Very excited
Oh,
to,
I know.
yeah.
I'm so excited. You've had amazing guests. And I'm so jealous. Devon Franklin, Kristin
Yes.
Chenowitz.
Yes, he was amazing. Having Devon on the
Oh,
show was outstanding.
I'm manifesting him today on our show.
Yes, do it. Do it. Manifestation is key. It's been
Oh,
definitely one of the most powerful tools I've ever used in the success of my business. So I'm very excited to share some tips and tricks on that with you. And thank you so much, Yvette, for having me
oh.
on your show. I am honored to be able to speak with your audience. I like for these things to be an ongoing conversation. So definitely find me on Instagram, Gigi Diaz Live. And if you have any questions about any of the stuff that we're talking about, DM me. I'm always all up in my DMs chatting with you. So let me know if
And
there's any way I can answer questions.
thank you so much for putting that out there because I'm sure that listeners will have questions. So I want to explore manifestation in the most brief, because we do have a short show, but effective way. So in your words, layman's terms, of course, what is manifestation? Because, I've sat and I've done the vision board and I've said, okay, I want this, but it's not happening. And I hear
Mm,
this all the time. I'm not the only one. So can you
yeah.
explain to us what it is and what are we doing wrong?
Oh, this is one of my favorite topics. So yes, I got your boo. Okay. So the easiest way that I can define manifestation is it is your direct request line to the universe, to God, right? So it is not so much prayer as it is direct connection. So in the process of manifestation, you're putting out to the universe a request of that which you are ready to receive. Now, the issue that happens often and why some people are like, well, I manifested this or that, or I put together a vision board and it didn't happen, is because manifestation depends on your vibration. It is your manifestation. So you do have a certain level of responsibility for it. It's not just like, yo, universe, bring me this and poof, there it is, right? Like you have to be, you are responsible for being in alignment with the manifestation that you desire. What does that mean? That means that you have to vibrate at the level of that which you desire. So for example, if you're saying, I want to, and this is one of the examples that I used on the manifestation challenge that I just wrapped up on my Instagram. We did a 5-day manifestation challenge. This is an example that I used on there because it's a real example that I've had with clients before. It's a real example that I've used before. You want to manifest a big chunk of money, right?
Okay.
Like I need $5,000. So you're like, all right, I'm going to put it on a vision board. I'm going to, put 5000 on there. And I'm going
Write
to
a
tell the
check.
universe, like, yeah, like you write a check to yourself. Okay. All right. You do that. Wonderful. Now, the next, that day you're like super excited. You're like, I am a money magnet. I am ready. You're using your affirmations. And then like 2 days later, you're like, man, this money's not coming. Where is it? Maybe I did the manifestation wrong. I'm just not meant to get that kind of money. What's happening with you? Like, where am I even going to, I was crazy to think that I could manifest $5,000 just like that. And that doubt changes your vibration. You're no longer in alignment with what you requested.
Okay.
So the universe would not grant you something that you are energetically vibrating against. Why the heck is going to give you $500 if you're not vibrating in the space of welcoming and receiving, of being ready to receive $500 because you're doubting that you can? And that's where we fail as manifestors, right? Like that's where we're like, I really want this. I believe that I can get it. But if it's not like an instant turnaround, If we think, right, that it's not being an instant turnaround, we start to work against the manifestation by doubting it. So you need to show up as though the manifestation has already happened.
And
You
feel.
need to feel exactly. That's the key, is you need to set your desires as step one. And you need to then embody the feeling of that desire already being real. It already has happened. And you're going to behave, vibrate, act, think as though the manifestation has already become a reality. It is already
That's
yours.
really difficult.
It can be, especially if you think that it is.
So I'll give you an example. I have girlfriends that, for example, I am manifesting the man of my dreams, but it's not happening. Should we assume then that manifestation has limitations, or that's our first mistake?
That is your first mistake. The universe is completely abundant. It is infinite in possibilities, right? And so is God. So whether you define, what you're manifesting, what you're requesting your manifestation from as the universe or God, both are infinitely abundant, right? It is our little brains that can encompass the supreme abundance of God and the universe. And so what ends up happening, and I love the manifestation of love because I manifested my fiance in 2 weeks, right?
What?
But here's what happens.
Share.
Yes, here's what happens. It all goes back to you. If you are requesting the man of your dreams, what is this person like? Is this person fun? Is this person honest? Is this person hardworking? Is this person accomplished? Right? I'm assuming these are just things I'm throwing out there because they were some of the things that were on my list that I'm assuming are pretty general things that anybody would want the man or the woman of their dreams to have, right? Like, or to be like. Now, the question goes back to you. Remember, you are the root of your manifestation. Are you vibrating as somebody who is fun? Are you in the vibration of honesty? Are you in the vibration of determination and accomplishing in your life and business? Are you in the vibration of that which you are requesting and that which you are desiring? And do you truly believe, have you shown up as the woman who deserves that person, man or woman, whatever partner it is that you're manifesting? Because I've worked with a lot of clients in the space of personal growth who really, really want to have that partner, and they're like, I just really wish I had a partner who understood me, who supported me, who believed in me, who was a rock for me when my business feels like it's just going to shit. And, and who's there to pop the bubbly and celebrate when I'm, achieving big things. And then I asked them, like, why can't you find, where's that person? Why can't you find them? Why haven't you attracted them? And they're like, well, because dating sucks, because this, because that. And it's like, so if you already believe that dating sucks and you already believe that all men are liars and you already believe that all women are cheaters, then that's what you believe. And that's an underlying vibration that is working against your manifestation. So for your friends, when they listen to this episode, I challenge them to ask themselves the difficult question of, what am I doing that is blocking my manifestation of an ideal partner? And then ask yourself, how am I showing up as an ideal partner? Am I really showing up as an ideal partner? Because if you're approaching dating from fear, if you're approaching dating from, this is probably not going to work out, or let's see what baggage this one has. You're already approaching it from a negative standpoint. Is that somebody who's welcoming love? Is that somebody whose heart and mind and spirit and life have the doors wide open for an abundant, beautiful, trusting, supportive, sexy, sensual, passionate love?
So, it's, as I speak to you, I feel that, in order to manifest successfully, you have to feel, you have to act like you already have those things. Mm-hmm. But as we said earlier, I know for me, sometimes I have, mental blocks that truly don't allow me to, think, this can really happen. So how do you overcome that mental block? Because I think I would assume it's common.
It is. It is. It can be for a lot of people until you master the art of manifestation. And even then, sometimes, I mean, we're human, you know, and sometimes we're just like, yeah, we revert back to our learned behaviors. But, you know, this is what I like to call step 3 of my manifestation process, which is release to receive. And so when you're having these doubts, when, you know, when the doubt of the manifestation creeps in, you want to take a look at that doubt and you want to flip it and turn it into an affirmation. So for example, tell me something you're manifesting in a doubt that you have, and we'll work with that one.
Oh, I mentioned it earlier on. Devon Franklin is going to be a guest on my podcast.
Okay. And what doubt do you have around that?
Why? This is really funny. Why? I'm not, a big network. I don't have 1 million followers.
Okay. So your doubt is revolving around whether or not you're worthy of a guest such as Devon Franklin, right? Because you don't have 1 million followers. Okay. So that's your doubt. I am manifesting Devon Franklin on my podcast, but I don't have 1 million followers. Why the hell would he even come on my podcast? Right?
Right.
Okay. So we're going to turn that around. Okay. And you're going to say, I am manifesting Devon Franklin on my podcast, and I deserve what I desire. I am worthy enough of having Devon Franklin on my podcast because my podcast is about development, growth, empowerment. And that is a space in which Devon Franklin dabbles.
Operates.
That's his thing. That's all he cares about, is empowering others and pouring into others. Right. And isn't that what you do? You
Absolutely.
pour into others. So
it
aligns. And now you are affirming that your podcast is in fact a space that would attract Devon Franklin. And now you just need to show up as such. Are you continuously showing up in your podcast in a way that is pouring into your listeners, supporting them, empowering them, right?
Right.
And now you've turned that doubt, you flipped it, right? Using evidence of the contrary of the doubt. There's evidence that your podcast is a space in which Devon Franklin would come and talk and be, because this is what you do. You do the same thing he does. You empower and you support and you help people to be in alignment with their greatness, right?
Right.
And now the next step to that. So we have released to receive. You've released that self-doubt, right? You've turned the preconceived notions into a positive statement and then into an affirmation. Now you have to trust the process, right? So when it doesn't happen immediately, this is what I call step 4, is trust the process. It may not happen tomorrow. He may not call you up and be like, yo, Yvette, I want to be on your podcast, right? That's okay. You're going to trust the process and believe, because there have been other times in your past when the universe, you've requested something from the universe, right? And you have felt like it didn't work out for you, but in hindsight, in retrospect, you realize that it did. And so when you start to doubt the time that it's taking for your manifestation to occur, you revert to, I'm sorry about my little dog, you revert to remembering when the universe has had your back. And then you're going to go to step 5, which is stay in that vibration, stay in the high vibe of living in gratitude for the amazing guests that you've already had. So instead of the scarcity of, I can't believe Devon Franklin isn't on my podcast yet, it becomes, but I'm so grateful that other amazing guests have been on my podcast, like Gigi, like so-and-so and so-and-so, and all the incredible people that you have interviewed, right? And then you want to co-create with the universe. So this is step 6. It is so important to co-create. A lot of people want to make the vision board and throw the manifestation out into the universe, and then they don't do anything. They just, sit on their hands and wait. That's not the way it works. How can you take aligned action to, gut inspired action, not necessarily logical action, but gut inspired action to align yourself into the path of Devon Franklin? What can you do?
the social media, Twitter, follow, comment.
Yeah.
Um,
What is your gut saying?
it's going to happen, Gigi. I am going to call you one day and say, I got Devon Franklin on my podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm being so real right now.
Yeah. Follow that gut inspired, aligned action. Sometimes it can be something logical, like all the things you just said. Sometimes it can be something that sounds completely unrelated, but feels like the right thing to do.
So it's all about that. It's
It's
all
your
about your.
intuition. It's all you're feeling.
Mm,
One example of that, I once wanted to manifest something, and when I sat in meditation, to create my manifestation, to write it out, to go through these 7 steps.
mm.
Um, and I asked, I was like, okay, what aligned action do I need to take to make this manifestation happen quicker? And what came to me was call your cousin. What the hell does my cousin have to do with this? My cousin lives in Las Vegas. You don't do nothing about manifestation. Like, what? This doesn't make no sense. But if my intuition says, call your cousin, I'm going to call my cousin. So I called him. I checked up on him. How are you doing? How are the kids? Small talk. What's up?
Right.
How's my aunt? It's driving me crazy. Oh my God, but I love her so much. Okay. What are you up to? Well, cause I'm doing XYZ. I'm actually working on blah, 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 blah. And my cousin said, that's so crazy. Just yesterday, I was talking to somebody who does that. I'm going to make an introduction for you.
No way.
Yeah. That is gut inspired, aligned action. Sometimes we get caught up in your mind. So some of the things you just said are mind responses. I'm not saying they're wrong. They could be right, but your gut response is going to work quicker. So what's the difference, for example, between a mind response and a gut response? Is in a mind response, you're like, oh, social media, I'm going to follow him. I'm going to comment. But maybe your gut says, follow somebody he follows that has less followers and ask them to make an introduction with Devon. That's an indirect, but probably quicker way, right? Maybe your gut says, go to a private screening. I hosted, one of the things that I did was I hosted the private screening for Devon Franklin's movie with Chrissy Metz. And I was there to guide them through the Q&A live in the movie theater with a movie theater full of fans that loved the movie, just like I did. And like, maybe, your gut says, and it was a surprise. The fans didn't know that they were going to be there. Right. Oh. So maybe your gut's like, go to a movie premiere, and you're just going to be like, what the hell does that have to do with anything? And lo and behold, there he is right in front of you at a movie premiere. And you can go up to him and his PR people and say, hey, I would love to have you on my podcast. So they may not be related. Right. They may not sound logical, but if your gut says it, that's the right thing to do.
Follow your gut.
And that's step 6. Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. I'm just curious. You were a child star in Cuba, and you've done all these amazing things since that onset of, entering in entertainment. Do you, this is a crazy question, but did you manifest any of it? Can you give us some sort of, just an idea of how you came to this place where you are, for example, manifesting your, I'm sorry, is it fiance?
Yes, he's my fiance.
Yay!
Still. We've moved our wedding date twice. We're just like, you're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. It's fine. It's good. So it's all good.
So can you sort of talk us through, that time and how you evolved into, this amazing place where you are guided by your gut and you believe in the practice? Because we've spoken off the recording, and I know that you believe what you preach. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. I have manifested absolutely everything that has occurred in my life, the good and the bad, because that's the way manifestation works.
Share.
Yeah. So as a child in Cuba, obviously I had no idea what the hell manifestation was. And I was just going through the motions, and I had, I was blessed that my parents, saw that I was talented in dance and song and stuff like that. And I got into entertainment in that way. I started dancing flamenco since I was 4 years old. Wow. At a place in Cuba called La Artística Gallega, where they're Spaniard based, like they're founded by Spaniard roots. And so a lot of like the older dancers would get to go to Spain and learn there. And then they would come back. The teachers would go to Spain and learn and come back and teach us, and so forth and so on. It was when I got into my teens that I started seeing people, my friends, in loops. They just kept doing the same thing over and over again. The same things kept happening to them, quote unquote, happening to them. Right. And I opened my first business at 18 years old. I opened a dance studio. I started working in media when I was 15 as a graphic designer and contributing writer to a newspaper. And then I started contributing writing to other newspapers. It was getting me a little money while I was in high school, and I liked doing it. And it just so happened to work out that way. And I discovered that communications and media was my passion at the time. It's like what I wanted to do for my career. But as an immigrant and having no money, my parents couldn't pay for college. I had to earn scholarships to college. Right. And I also needed money because scholarships don't pay for your car or your gas or your books. So I figured like, okay, the only thing I know how to do is dance. So I'm going to dance, and I'm going to continue to do journalism because I get paid for that. And then we'll figure it out. So I opened my dance studio, Gigi's Academy, when I was 18 years old. So in that process of opening my business while I was in college, right, having to work with kids and learning from them, seeing how much kids believe in everything, right? Kids just really believe all the things they say. And the power of their words is incredible, And in that process, I started to really get in touch with figuring it out because, as an 18-year-old running a business, I didn't have a damn clue what I was doing. I didn't know anything about marketing or promotions. I just knew how to dance, and I loved teaching these kids how to dance. And that was it. Right. So a lot of the decisions I made at that time as an entrepreneur were what you would call throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what happened. Right. What sticks. Right. And so in that process of discovery, I would decide which wall to throw spaghetti at based on my gut. I think this is a good idea. Let's try it and see what happens. I think that's a good idea. Let's try it and see what happens, follow my face a couple of times and then figure it out. And I realized that most of the decisions that I made that were logical sometimes took longer to succeed than the things that I did that were gut inspired, where I was like, I'm going to do this. This feels right in my gut. And so we're just going to do it. How? I don't fucking know, but we're going to do it. You don't have the money. I'll figure it out. You don't have the people. Bold. I don't care. Yeah. But when you're young, it's easier to be bold because you're less afraid.
That's true.
Yeah. So as I grew, I learned about spirit and connection. And, when the more that I wanted, the more that I knew that I was supported, and there was doubt and there was growth and there was, a lot of pain and a lot of, mindsets that I had to overcome in order to be able to discover what these pre-existing preconceived notions were in my head that were blocking me from being able to manifest the things that I wanted, So, things like how we talked about, let's say you want to manifest the ideal person, but all men are liars. Well, then you already believe that all men are liars. The ideal person doesn't exist. So you're fucking up your own manifestation. You're never going to find him, because you're sitting here saying to the universe, I want an ideal guy, but one doesn't exist because they're all liars. So the universe is going to be like, well, you solved your own problem. Bye.
So it's almost like you don't believe what you're manifesting.
You don't believe what you're manifesting is the reason why your manifestations get stuck and don't happen. Now, what the biggest thing here is that is most important is a lot of the beliefs that we have, we're not aware of. A lot of the preconceived notions and beliefs that we have around relationships, around money, and around business, we don't even know we have them. They're subconsciously maneuvering our thoughts in our mind, dictating our emotions, and thus creating the results that we do or don't do, right? Like action is just as powerful as inaction.
Right.
And that's what creates our results. And this is where having a coach is the most important thing for rapid growth, because you can grow. You can read all the self-help books. You can listen to all the podcasts. You can go to all the webinars. You can go to all the things, but it's the integration of that knowledge that actually changes your life. Because we all know how to lose weight. Eat more salad, eat more fruits, and get your ass off the chair and go walking. But we are still living in one of the most obese countries in the world. So how is that? We all know how to lose weight, but you're not integrating that knowledge and applying it. Why? There's a block there. There's something blocking you. For some people, it's a self-worth thing. For some people, it's a self-love thing. For some people, it's a trauma with food. For some people, it's health. It is health. I know that there's people that can't lose weight because of health issues. Obviously, I'm not talking just about that. I'm talking about our own mindset and limiting beliefs that sometimes we don't know are there. True. And block us from success. I encounter it with my business clients often. I want to scale my business and I want to make 6 figures. Excellent. What's holding you back? And then you start digging up money beliefs. Well, it's hard to make money. No, it's not. I have to work hard to make money. How many times have we been told that as kids? You have to work hard to get rich.
That's what we were raised on, at least me.
Yeah.
Dominican background.
But if you already believe that, that's going to create that thought is going to create what you do. Thoughts become actions. They become things, right? So if you already believe that working hard is necessary in order to succeed, what are you going to choose to do? You're going to choose to work hard. But if you dig that belief up and you say, and you learn to believe that working smart is the best way to success, what are you going to do now? You're not going to work hard. You're going to work smart.
So out of curiosity, at what point did you sort of think, you started the manifestation and you thought, oh, this really works?
In
your 20s.
Very early 20s. Yeah. I discovered that it works and I grew to get better at it. And I'm still getting better at it. Every day I get better at it because every day I work on myself and on my vibration. And every day I make the conscious decision and choice to give myself as the roots and foundation of my business, my relationships, my manifestations, my everything. Everything stems from me and my heart. I make a conscious choice every day to vibrate at a good level, to find a positive space, to work on my mindset and my limiting beliefs, to overcome the obstacles that I have put in front of myself without blaming anybody else for what's going on in my life, because it's my responsibility. I am the creator of this life that I am in. So if there's an obstacle, I have to look inward and say, how can I take responsibility? How can I be accountable for my reality so that I can change it?
So what are the 2 blocks that, I'm sure there's many blocks, but the 2 blocks that you see most often in your clients when they're not successful in this manifestation process?
A is believing in the process, right? Like it's easy to be like, I manifest $1 million. And then you go play the lotto and you don't win. And you're like, oh, manifestation doesn't work.
I've done that.
Okay. That's not really aligned action. I mean, it could help, but
the odds are against me, but I'll do it. Why not?
There's nothing wrong with playing the lotto, but what I'm getting at is, believing in the process, right? Like you need to follow the steps and you need to integrate. Manifestation isn't just get me this, I want it now, as if you've never done it before. Once your vibration and your energy and your belief and your connection to God and to the universe is so profound that it becomes your day-to-day, manifestation becomes so much quicker, because you're already at the vibration of abundance, because you're living in gratitude, because you are keeping yourself in check and nurturing yourself in the ways that are necessary to bring more love and more abundance and joy into your life. And so you're doing the inner work and you're doing your manifestation, right?
And feeling you deserve it.
And
right?
feeling you deserve it. So some of the main blocks that I've seen most often revolve around that. You want the instant gratification. You're not willing to do the work. You're not willing to co-create. You're not willing to become the vibration and the energy that is ready to receive that which you manifest.
So for someone that, is listening and truly wants to try manifestation and do it successfully, what are the first two things you would recommend?
You need to look inward and discover what is it in your mind that is blocking you from manifesting what you desire. What beliefs are in your subconscious mind, or sometimes they're even in your conscious mind. What beliefs are there that are keeping you from truly believing in your manifestation? Because you can't have both beliefs at the same time. You can't believe that you can manifest a perfect partner if you also believe that a perfect partner for you does not exist. You can't believe that you can make, $100,000 in your business in the next 6 months if you believe that you can't raise your prices because your product isn't worth a certain amount of money, or the ticket value is too high, or if you believe that getting clients is difficult, or if you believe that money doesn't grow on trees, or if you believe that all these other things. You can't believe both. You can't believe that you can make $1 million and then believe that you're not worth $1 million, and have doubt about your business and have doubt about your opportunities of growth. Right. And these are I'm just throwing some things that I've coached on out there. It could be anything. So really focus on what beliefs are holding you back from truly being able to vibrate in the space of abundance and gratitude that will openly attract what you want to manifest. There's a lot of self-worth in there. There's a lot of self-doubt in there. There's a lot of,
Fear.
again, limiting. Fear. You'd be surprised how common fear of success is.
Oh, absolutely.
You want to be successful, but you're scared, underlying fear. And you tell people that and they're like, I'm not scared of being successful. I'm ready to be a millionaire. And when you start to dig in, it's like, no, I'm wrong. I'm fucking terrified of being a millionaire. I'm terrified of selling $1 million because, and sometimes it's, what if they all want their money back? What if I get to the mountain and I fall off? Like, what if I get to the top of my mountain and I just fall off?
Fear,
People are scared of their own success. And so this is why I combine all of my coaching with mindset. Whether I'm coaching on manifestation or I'm coaching on business, it all stems from your mindset. Everything in your life starts right here in your little noggin, right here behind your eyes. Everything starts there.
I wrote an article once and it talked about how we create what we believe. Whatever we think we are, we create it. Whatever we, fear, we create it. It is true. I believe that. For years I didn't believe I was worthy of better. So I, made decisions that were not good.
Yeah.
And I created all that. My actions, the way I thought about myself created all of that. So with, I could talk to you all day.
Yes, I would love that. We could talk all day.
So I love your energy. And I think I've mentioned that. I think that so many people right now are looking for something to believe in, are just searching for hope. And I like to end all the interviews with a positive message. And I'm sure you're full of those. So my question for you is, can you offer a couple of mantras or affirmations that, we can use starting today to help make that shift towards making our dreams come true?
Absolutely. I actually have an affirmations ebook available that is really, really good for this. It focuses on affirmations for career growth, for emotional management, on, all sorts of areas in life and business. So some that I would love to share is, an affirmation you can use all the time that is really powerful is, I am, and for the record, affirmations, and I always like to say this because a lot of people don't know this, believe it or not, affirmations always need to be in the present and always need to be positive. So in other words, an affirmation isn't, I am not going to, An affirmation is I am going to. So you don't use the negation ever. So I am worthy of what I desire. That's an affirmation that's really powerful. I am always attracting happiness and opportunities. I am enough.
Oh, that is something that I have on I keep Post-its of affirmations on my mirror. And that is one that every time I hear it, every time I say it, I get really emotional. I think all of us need to say, I am enough.
Yeah, because we are.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't take away from wanting to be better for you, right? Because you deserve to truly experience and experiment with this life in every way that's going to make your heart happy, right? And your soul do a little dance, but not because you feel you're not enough. You are enough. You are enough as you are. But if you want to, you can be better. You can be stronger. You can be happier. You can be more supported. You can be more successful. But if you don't want any of those things, you are enough as you are.
Gigi, I love you. I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being here today. Can you share with our listeners how they can reach you, find you, ask questions?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Gigi Diaz Live. That's Gigi, D as in David, IA, Z as in zebra, LIV as in Victor, E. So Gigi Diaz Live. Or you can head on over to the website, seizinghappy.com. And I'm Gigi Diaz Live on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Clubhouse, all the things. Same name.
Thank you so much for being here today. We love you. I'm sure we'll cross paths again. And listeners, thank you for joining us for another episode of the AW Confidential. Practice those affirmations.